Hi all, right back with more enemy action Kharkov, German solo. This is part 73. Soviets have had their first impulse. Seemed to be quite a long drawn out part that. It was a bit of a late nighter. I didn't realise I was a bit tipsy. Uh, Maybe had a little more than I thought, to be honest. So I've not watched back on that yet. But it felt like it was drawn out a little bit. But we did catch a couple of things, didn't we? I can't remember exactly. It's to do with that unit. Oh yeah, and this unit moving away, didn't he? We eventually realised he could move away because the situation was at the start of the activation anyway that this unit was proximate. So hopefully we've got all that right. But I've not watched back yet. I didn't get tomorrow's today. I'm hoping to go tomorrow, which is just as well because I believe there was strike action again today on the trains. So I wouldn't have got a train today. But tomorrow I think it's alright, and then we're going away on Wednesday, so I kind of need to go tomorrow. So hopefully I'll catch up a bit in the footage. This is 73. I've got 70, 71 and 72 sort of standing by to watch. So I'll get some of that watched, and if I don't get it all watched, hopefully I'll have a little time on holiday when I'm able to relax and watch what's going on. And it wasn't a terribly strong impulse by the Soviets. We've got to remember now that they will start replacing points. They will want to get forward support markers out as well. Now, they didn't do any of that. All they did, they placed a point in the 6th Army, didn't they? And then it was a Popov units activation. Was a bit concerned that they might be going to attack down here. Turns out they didn't have the force for it. Yeah, we were only counting. What were we counting? Yeah, it was just this unit alone because it was a units activation, wasn't it? Did this guy move into here? Yeah. So this stack had this was stacked. It had activated, wasn't it? Let's send it up with an IP. So that unit must have moved. He must have done nothing. Oh yeah, that was another one we spotted as well. I remember I was almost bouncing him back to reserves, and then realised that because of his him being there, this unit is able to trade supply. And was that right? Or was it no? Was he in danger and near? He was. He could be nearly surrounded. I think if I took that away, it was something like that. Anyway, there is, I suppose, a slight concern here. Now, I don't want to lose any more victory points. Not as easy as that anyway. You know, I want to be able to say, well, okay, they've done this and they deserve to have taken a victory point. But, you know, we can get this a bit better supported. We've got 57 core, you can see the cars up there. 57 core, we've got 48 core. It's talking about coming down and surrounding. We don't have second SS cards yet, but I think I want to say probably want to activate 57 first just to get a bit more strength in there. Get another 2 steps in there probably. Now, hang on. Oh. Yeah, with this guy coming here, that's trouble because this is marsh. It's 2 for infantry to move through that. So breaking zone of control, yeah, we cannot get anything in there. Yeah, not so good then. So we're going to have to hope that this guy can cope all right. Well, that probably means active 48 core and bring them down round about, trying to surround them a bit. Also, the good thing is that they're not in support yet, so but I dare say they'll place a marker at some point. Right, anyway, it's what we're going to do just now, so it's our first impulse. Now, well, the 2 main things, obviously this is a slight concern as well, but like I've just noticed, I can't strengthen the VP hex. No, I can't. I mean, unless we can attempt to make an attack. I think even getting these guys down, that was annoying, that guy moving in there actually. That's because he was in there, wasn't he? Because we would have been able to come down around, and with him moving in there, that's a bit of a pain. Anyway, that's an area of concern, yeah. But the two main things that we want to be able to do, and as early as possible, one is take Izium. Now, if I activate 40 core, this garrison's going to drop off, and we're going to just stroll into Izium, and take a victory point back, which is great. And I've got the cards to be able to do that. And of course, the other one is, if we're going to do it, and I really don't know if it's worth it or not by doing it. But because I don't know, I think I should do it. Because, I'm probably going to be regretting it throughout the turn, that if I leave it isolated and it gets taken out, and we look at the numbers and look at the chip pools and we say, you know what, if he wasn't isolated, we might have got away with it. So because of that, and because I'm not sure, I'd like to get that isolated marker removed, and then we can sort of see how the turn progresses. If Kharkov still falls, then I'll keep that in. I'll keep that for my next game and realise that, look, it's not going to make any difference. If there's a strong enough force around Kharkov, I mean, there's nowhere for the units, but there's 6 steps in it. And remember, he's in a town as well, city. So it needs D7 to eliminate him. Now, I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but he's got 10 strength. So the odds that they're going to get, my guess would be the greatest odds that they're probably going to get are 3-1. And yeah, I dare say they could muster maybe double-digit chip pools. But to get 7 hits out of that, my thinking is it's going to take 2 attacks. Now, that could happen throughout the turn. There definitely could be at least 2 attacks, possibly 3. So it might end up coming to nothing. But I think because we don't know, I really want to do it. And the fact that if I don't do it right now, there's a strong chance third tank are going to activate, and then it's going to be too late. They're going to attack. So I really think I need to do it now if I'm going to do it. Now, obviously, I don't want to leave this as well. I'd like to do this as well, but I don't see an immediate threat to Izium. I was panicking about the reserve units that are not reserve units from the first guards. They're actually eliminated units. Thinking that they might be able to actually deploy in the town. So they don't have any reserves. So they'd have to bring units back into the reserve units box and then deploy them. I mean, the other thing could be 2 activations of Popov or 6 army. I don't think first guards would cut it. But if we got 2 activations of them, they might be able to get in a position where they were then proximate to it. I think that's a risk I've got to take, though. And I think it's worthwhile taking, because I don't think I should take this first and leave the chances that third tank are not going to activate. So that's my thinking about it all just now. And I think it's worthwhile doing, because, like we've said, if we can hold it to less than 17 victory points, and they're sitting at 17 just now, and obviously that would take it down to 16. And we own Kharkov. Well, it works in both ways for them, because if they take Kharkov, they gain 4 victory points, so it takes it above the 17 anyway. However, if we lose Kharkov, then all our victory conditions require, and this is something I didn't consider, all the victory conditions require at the end of the turn require that us to own Kharkov. Even at the very end of the game, it says German victory requires ownership of Kharkov, and that's the very end of the game, so that's after turn 14. Well, actually, is there a turn 15? It's just got it in a box on its own there. I guess what it must mean is you've got a chance of winning at the end of turn 14, and if you don't, and then the game ends, and if you own Kharkov, then you still have a victory, and if you don't, then you don't. So it all sways on the we need Kharkov, and that's why if they take Kharkov, we're gonna have to take it back. So you can see that our force is going to have to start coming to Kharkov, but whether it's probably not a strong chance of keeping it held, but by doing what I'm going to do, it's going to give it a better shot, I think. And you know what? We'll find out. We'll find out, because I'm going to do it. I don't see why I shouldn't do this. So I'm going to play Air Supply on this card, and we're going to put Kharkov back in supply. Now, I did look it up before, and it's very simply said that Air Supply, place all German units in one hex in full supply. Now, there's not anything that says. I'm going to have a look in the rulebook though. You know, at first I thought, is there. Right, here we go. Right. The thing is, if it's out of supply or if it's isolated, there can't be a requirement for it, really, because what is the requirement going to be? I mean, he's going to be surrounded, he's going to be out of supply or isolated, so what? Right, page 42, air resupply. And I'm a bit, the wording on this is wrong. And I noticed watching Michael's playback, this is back, I've not caught up on where he is, probably around part 30ish or maybe late 20s. He talks about using an air power card to put a unit to possibly put a unit back in air supply, and I was looking at the card thinking, well, it's not got air supply on it, and it's a card something similar to this. Now, this is a combat tactic, air power, but that's a combat tactic. There's no event there that says anything about that. But if you look at the rule book, I can see where he's maybe picked this up, and he didn't actually do any of this, and I'm pretty sure if he went to do it, he would realise that no, it needs to be an event that says air supply. But I'll just read to you what it says in the rules, because I think there's something a bit off about it. Page 42, 13.4, air resupply. So unless I might be reading it wrong, which is possible. So it says the German and Soviet sides may play an air power command event. And my guess is that's just worded, that's a misprint, and it should say, and because air power is not a command event, it's not, it's just been a misprint. Air supply is the command event for both the Germans and the Soviets. It's called air supply, so that's a misprint, that's all it is. It says, so the German and Soviet sides may play an air power, like I say, air power should say air supply, command event to restore an unsupplied friendly unit or stack to supply per the event description. When the event is applied, the stack immediately returns to supply. Remove the out of supply or isolated marker from the stack. During the next supply phase, the unit will again be subject to a normal supply check. Soviet air resupply does not put Soviet units in support. Okay, so that is just a misprint. What's it? It's a wee bit different with the Soviets, is that? Oh no, it's just that they've got preferences, obviously. Yeah, it just wants to preference certain things. But for us, it's our choice. So basically, place all German units in one hex, in full supply. That's what I'm doing. That isolated marker comes off. And now we do not suffer from that. So we will see. We will see if it was a waste a card, then so be it. We'll learn that from our next game. But who knows? I still think they guys could get lucky and hold. You might be laughing right now saying, no, that's not going to happen, Grant. You could well be right. But I need to find out, so I'm giving it a shot. Right, so that's my impulse. Nice and easy, nice and quick. Although I still look at the recording time there and see that we're at 15 minutes. Right, and then we draw back up to 6 cards. So what do we want? Second SS, I think, would be nice. Yeah, because we're not really needing anything else, I don't think. Right, anyway, let's see what we get. Right, Core Rouse. Again, so I'm getting all the cards that I said I wouldn't see much of. Admittedly, this is a primary one as well. But we've had more First Panzer Army stuff, and now we get a Core Rouse card, and it was like all about First Panzer Army and Core Rouse the last turn for us. So I'm guessing the cards from now on in might be something more to do with 4th Panzer Army units. So Core Rouse card. I mean, it does assign 1 replacement point. We've got 2 eliminated units. However, we've got an on-map reduced unit. We could repair that, I suppose. We could activate them both and move them. I'm not feeling that. They're not in any great danger. On saying that, I'm not so sure they've got a 4. Well, you could 6 against 2 is 3 to 1 odds with 2 chip pools, but nah. But yeah, maybe. So not. It's got artillery as a combat tactic, so maybe that possibly, if we're going to get aggressive. So anyway, that's what we've got. That's our next card. Right. So it's back over the Soviets now. So I'm just going to push on because I've got a little bit of time just now. And yeah, I'm feeling that sort of vulnerable way about that last video, especially from last night. Feeling like I'd like to see that back, to see what all went down. I think, but well, anyway, I've got the chance. I could sit and watch some video footage back just now, or I could play the game. What's more fun? I don't find it that much fun watching my videos back. Although Tracy keeps telling me, you're obsessed with yourself, watching yourself back. I'm like, no, I'm only looking over it because I want to see if I've made any mistakes. But, yeah. Okay. Right. So the impulse, yeah? Are we good? Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, here we go. 40th Army Units card. There's not a primary card. There is a primary card. First Guards Army. So that is the primary. That's going to be the command card. This is auxiliary card. Now we've got the same event as we had the last time. So event is Garrison Bornese Front. Do I really need to look at this? Oh, and I did confirm that I got a reply back from Martin regarding the operational limit thing, didn't I? And he basically just says it doesn't matter that certain units, because their front objective's still on the board, it doesn't matter that they can move outside that line. That is still the limit. That's still the limit, depending on your victory points. And remember, if they do take Kharkov and go up, they'll jump up to 21 points. Which is maybe another good 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Which is another good reason to take back Izium. Now I don't think these 2 cards are going to affect the situation with Izium, so that's going to activate me unless I've missed something. And because First Guards are up in that neck of the woods. I don't believe so. Like I say, if they did have reserve units, I might have been worrying, but they're not reserved, they're eliminated units. Okay, so this is event, it's on turn 6. I don't think it's going to happen though, because we've had 2 impulses. Well, to be honest, the Soviets did move a few units, didn't Right, I suppose I better have a look. Because all I need to do is place one garrison, and then it means that card's been used. So, right, let me go and have a look. I'm just realising that it's, well, it's maybe not irrelevant, but it's almost irrelevant. Because the event says place garrison markers and hexes targeted for... Ah, no, sorry. My bad. No. Did I read that properly the last time then? Place garrison markers and hexes targeted for the front named in the event. Okay, I'm not so sure I did. I'm pretty sure nothing would have happened because nothing had changed there. And I'm pretty sure nothing's going to happen here. But yeah, because I was wondering about the relevance of it just being... Because it's a Soviet unit Proxima or the hex is in Soviet support. And the fact that the near operational limit line is a support line, it kind of... But, yeah, it can only be a village that's targeted for Voronezh front. Okay. No, nothing can be placed. Remember, it's got to be a Voronezh front targeted village. It's got to be above this line, because that is the near operational limit line. And it would be in support, because that's the support line as well for them. But we can't look along here because these are southwestern front. The only one that if there is some issue with this, the fact this unit is proximate to this, but I think we're sticking with, Tom was on that replied, and I agree with him that we can't really consider that. We know that if we look at this unit being proximate, yes, the garrison doesn't count, however the town does. He has to stop when moving into the town. And it's like a terrain thing, isn't it? It's like you're checking terrain. It'd be like the same. See if this was the Dnieper River, crossing over that Dnieper River, as you need to use your full movement allowance. So there's no way we'd be proximate. Well, mind you, that's a bridge, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I was looking at other... These are, but... This German unit's not proximate, and we can't trace German supply. This one had a marker in it, and remember, because of the placement of this one, it removed that one because we're now not proximate to that. And then the ones along here, this is adjacent to German unit. This, we can't trace German supply from any of these. And we looked at these already when we were placing them, so unless we made a mistake there... But if we made a mistake there, we wouldn't be doing it in this as an event. We'd be rewinding to the start of the turn and placing them there. But I can't... Like I say, we can't trace into this hex. This is German map edge. And then there's no gap between these two. Remember, this exerts zone of control while we're doing this check. And same here, there's no gap. So, no. So I don't think we're going to be able to play that event, so it's just going to sit there, might be used as a combat tactic, more than likely it's going to be used as a 40th Army units activation, so, okay. Right, so that card just stays there, like I say. So this is our command card, activate all units in 1st Guards Army. Now, there was 2 units that were eliminated, and 1 is out of supply, but as long as there is... I want to say, as long as there's 1 unit, I think we might have 2 in here. Yeah. This one is out of supply. I think the requirements are as long as there's 1 unit that's supplied, 1 supplied unit on the map from the army. I'll just double check that. Yeah. Page 14, 8.13, unit activation command. Activate units in the formation specified on the card per 9.0 if at least 1 non-isolated unit... Oh, it's non-isolated actually. Non-isolated unit in the specified formation is on the map or in the reserve box. If this minimum requirement is not met, do not perform the activation command. Yeah, and Soviet formations are not subject to consecutive activation restrictions. So we are going to activate 1st Guards. Okay, well that's the 3 units activated. I'm not awful sure what they're going to do though, but yeah, because they're all surrounded. So this could be Right, now they've got an army objective marker still. Now their front objective is still in play, it's not been reached, it's in its last position, so we ignore that. First guards, the army objective marker is still in its first space as well, I think, isn't it? 2102, yeah. It's not being reached. Probably doesn't look likely now. Yeah, okay. So I think there's going to be a whole lot of nothing here, really. Take a VP hex, nope. Adjacent to German unit, it's 9.21 method 8. Right, well, no, hang on. There's different movement methods for out of supply units. Yeah, here we go. 9.27. Check active out of supply or isolated Soviet units one at a time in ascending order after checking all other active units. Okay, so we're not checking this at the moment. Not that, I mean, unless they've got some trick that they can get out of things. I don't think I've seen anything coming up yet. That's not to say there might be some special event that maybe allows something, but so we're only looking at these two in movement method 9.26. And adjacent, well, they're not in a empty hex, so they won't lock in because there's two of them in the hex. So and they can't move anywhere. 3 is closer to German unit and army objective. Yeah, I mean, Grant, they can't move. They can't move. Well, it still allows us to activate the formation. There's nothing to say. I mean, I did read it there. I did read it that it said as long as there's at least one non-isolated unit in the formation. And remember, it will also tell us where does it tell us? Yeah, activation completion after processing all activation steps. And remember, that doesn't mean that we're going to try and activate them and say, okay, well, we can't do anything with them. Let's go into the events here. That's not the case because we've activated the units. So if we can't do anything with them, that's fine. The card gets discarded because it says activation completion after processing all activation steps. The activation command is considered complete even if nothing occurred in those steps. So yeah, I mean, that guy's not going to do anything. They're not going to have moved. They can probably build an IP, admittedly. Yeah. Yeah, it's not just the German. Move is close. They can't move. Stop it, Grant. So they're going to just be locked into the hex, having done nothing at all. So double checking the unsupplied unit. So it says 9.27 movement methods for unsupplied units. Check active out of supply or isolated Soviet units one at a time in ascending order after checking all other active units. All such units move within the limitations of their supply state. 13.2. So 3 bullets here. First one, an out of supply or isolated unit that is able to trace supply follows the movement methods of 9.21 or 9.22 and the restrictions of 9.23. He cannot trace supply. An out of supply or isolated unit that is unable to trace supply moves to a hex in Soviet supply. Yeah, with some preferences. It can, if not possible, move to a hex not adjacent to any German unit, preferring a hex as close as possible to a hex. It can't move at all. If surrounded or if isolated, here we go. And adjacent to a German unit does not move. So there we go. So he just doesn't move as well. And they can't adjust with 9.25 because they can't move. So yeah, but that is them. They've had an activation, and like I say, I think these guys will build an IP. There wasn't any reserves, so place eligible active reserve units on the map. Now hang on here. The fact he's stacked. Yeah, this came up before. Can he bounce back to the reserves then? It feels a bit naughty to be able to do that, but he is stacked with another unit. So, where are we? Looking at the wrong bit. Well, let's just see what it says here then. Active on map unit in hex in supply. Yeah, because he can't trace supply. So this isn't going to apply to him, but he's on his own anyway. Let me get this up in the rulebook though. 9.6. Check active units one at a time in descending numerical order. So I think it's a guy underneath. He's unit 17 underneath. So I'll leave them like that just now. If the unit is eligible for removal, remove it from the map, place it in the Soviet Reserve units box and may re-enter. Okay, first check that the unit meets all these eligibility prerequisites for removal. The unit did not move or attack. The unit is adjacent to German unit. Yeah. Supply can be traced from the unit's hex. Reserve supply is not required and supply state and dispersal have no effect. Well, in actual fact, if he was out of supply and able to trace supply, then he would be considered. He is on his own though. So supply can be traced. 1, 2, 3 onto there, or just 1, 2 onto that road, and then he's fine. Nothing changed there. So they are fine. They can trace supply. The unit was not placed in the map from reserve unit spots this activation. This is annoying, actually. This is not nice. Well, no, it's not, is it? Yeah, because I'm going to have a go at these guys next turn. I suppose the one good thing is I'm going to be attacking just a 2-strength, 2-step unit rather than 4-strength. So I suppose in some ways it makes it easier for me. Anyway, the unit was not placed in the map from reserve units. I've just read that one. Removal of the unit would not cause another Soviet unit to become nearly surrounded. Well, it wouldn't, because it's leaving another unit in the hex, so there's units in the hex anyway. If in a hex in the operational limit, removal of which it is, and then if in a hex in the operational limit, removal of the unit would not cause a surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded. No. The unit is not in Kharkov. No. Then if the unit meets all these prerequisites for removal and is in any of the following 4 situations, remove the unit. In or adjacent to a village targeted exclusively for the non-active front. I don't think so, but let's look at the one that should matter. In a non-VP hex, within the operational limit, yes. And stacked with another unit, yes. Or adjacent to at least 2 Soviet-occupied hexes. Well, it's not, but it is stacked with another unit. So unit 17 is going to bounce back to the reserves. So he's a 1-step, 2-strength unit. Like I say, now we know what we're doing next. We're taking Izium, and we're probably going to have a go at that guy, and have a go at this guy, and oops. Okay, yeah, I think the downside is he's going to build an IP as well. So that would be the next step. Is that the next step? Place eligible active units, remove eligible active units to the reserve box. We've done that. Place an IP marker on 1 eligible active unit. Well, I suppose we do have 2, but the fact he's out of supply might... I can't remember. Well, it's the next bit. 9.7 on page 25. Placing an IP in a Soviet unit. Starting again turn 4. In step 6 of Soviet activation, place an IP marker on 1 hex only and Soviet support containing... Right, they are in support. Containing at least 1 active Soviet unit did not move or attack, was not placed as a reserve in the current activation. Do not place an IP marker in a hex with a town or city or that already has an IP marker. Or if all units in the hex are dispersed, out of supply or isolated. Okay, well that's that guy out. He can't build an IP. And then among qualifying hexes, well, we've got this guy. So well, they did do something in the end then. I mean, they bounced one guy back to reserves and they built an IP on the other guy. So As well, just turning that back around because that's going to be that. Give him a wee blue cube. So although this hex is only 2 strength now, it has built an IP as well. So yeah, a bit of both happened there really. And now the supply unit can't do anything, and that'll be the end of the activation. Remove disperse markers. Yeah. Right, okay, so that's that. But however, there was no. Actually, yeah, I forgot. We could have considered attack, Grant. Why did you skip on by that? Ah, you balloon. Well, let's quickly look. Oh. Because this is going to be. This guy would have been able to attack. Because we've got a 2-step unit. Well, do I want to bring it back? Well, I'll bring it back if it's going to happen. And it is possible. What's the command card? It's a 3. They are just infantry, so there is a auxiliary combat tactic though, and they're in support, etc. Okay, so these units didn't move. Let's just think that we've got 4 strength. I'll just take the blue cube away just now. We've got 4 strength here. Now this is the weakest option. Meaning you can consider attacks against any of these. Sorry, I'm not wanting to look at that. That's 6, 4, 5. So the best option is going to be this. Although that might not be the case depending on the odds. So we've got 4, but we've got 4 here as well. He can join the attack as long as there's a supplied unit attacking. He can support the attack. So this is a lead unit doing the check. So he can do the check against this guy or this guy. So it would be 4, 8. So it'd be 8 against 5. 8 against 5. We get a +1 for being adjacent. So 8 against 6. It would be in support, yeah. Yeah. So it's 8 against 6 or 8 against 4. Well, there you go. Yeah. So it is going to be 2-to-1 odds. Ooh. This might actually come to something. So the attack check would be on this unit here, and we would have 8 strength, 4 on this hex, and 4 on this hex, and he would get a +1 for being adjacent. So that would be 8 against 4. So 2-to-1 odds situationally. So we do a tactical value check here. The command card value is a 3, so that's a pretty decent start. And then it is 2-to-1 odds, so they get a +2 for that, taking it to 5. No artillery barrage. It is in support. That takes it to a 6. This is going ahead because he's got a combat tactic. Well, in fact, if any attacking units are surrounded, yeah, they both are. They would get a +1. Right, okay, I'm going to have to rewind this. Sorry about that. Yeah, so jumping back, took the IP off, put that reserve, put that unit back onto the map. Attack checks would have went ahead, would have succeeded. We are going to attack here. And these units didn't do anything. They didn't move or anything, so not that matters. So they attack, and then this guy's going to attack as well. Even though he's out of supply, he can, as long as there's a supplied unit attacking. Yeah, so let's just double check that. That should just tell us. Right, the combat tactics NKVD. Yeah, so I just want to find the bit that talks about the units out of supply. Maybe I need the rule book, to be honest. Yeah, attack eligibility on page 31, 12.1. Units are dispersed or isolated may not attack. Dispersed or isolated. Out of supply Soviet units can't attack. Oh. Oh, right. Why? Out of supply Soviet units can't attack. Out of supply German units may participate in an attack in which at least one supplied unit is attacking. Why is it different? That's right. Well, it's not going to happen then. Right, hang on. Yeah, it does have that. When you're doing the conduct attack checks, bullet 3 is exclude strength of Soviet units that are dispersed, unsupplied, or already attacked. Oh, okay. Well, I'm kind of relieved by that. I don't think I wanted them to attack, just in case they got lucky. So we can only consider this 4 strength against 3. That might be a different story. Yeah, so 4 against 3. So it is 1-to-1 odds. Well, maybe because it's surrounded still, it might still go with us. So the card value is a 3. Hang on. He gets a +1 grant. That's still 1-to-1, isn't it? It was 4, isn't it? So it's 4 against 3, but situationally he gets a +1 for being adjacent to a supply German unit. So it's 4 against 4, 1-to-1 odds, tactical value check, command value of the cards are 3. It doesn't get the 2, it's not 2-to-1. No artillery barrage, it's in support, that's a 4. If only Soviet units have armour, no. If any attacking units are surrounded, yes, he is surrounded, so that's a 5. Maybe just miss. If flanking will apply, no. Or defender will be surrounded and unable to supply, and no. If target hex VP greater than or equal to 2, no. If all combat attack and auxiliary card apply, they would. That takes it to a 6, but yeah, he's just going to miss out. Less than 4 cards. Yeah, so yeah, they either need the armor bonus maybe there, or the fact that they're surrounded gives them that +1, or 2-to-1 strength. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, just as well. I noticed that. I suppose I thought the Soviets were the same as us. That as long as we've got, because the Germans, as long as they've got an attacking unit that's in supply, then you can bring unsupplied units along. Not the case for the Soviets. Okay, let me then rewind this all again then. So what I've done at first is what would have happened. So this guy would have stayed there. This guy would have bounced back to the reserves. And this guy would have built his IP right enough. Yeah, because that would have been the only attack check, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wonder why they're restricted to that then, and we're not. Well, just one of the things they must have wanted to restrict them for some reason. Maybe it was, well, I don't know, the fact that we can do it and they can't, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. It's more often the other way about. However, okay, so, right, that was that done then. So, eventually. Right, well, let's move on. I thought I was going to eventually have to cut that because it was taking an awful long time because I've made mistakes there. Right, so we didn't use auxiliary card, so we are going to play this now. So activate up to 2 unit stats in 40th Army, not in a VP hex. and all army reserves. There's no army reserves, but let's have a look who's going to activate. Okay, it's just these 3 stacks here. 40th Army. So these aren't a VP hex. Oh well, it's pretty straightforward then. It's going to be these 2 stacks that will activate then, won't it? Because activate up to 2 unit stacks in 40th Army, not in a VP hex. And all army reserves, there's none of them. So yeah, we don't need to check preferences. It's going to be these 2 stacks. Now they used to have a army objective marker, but it's away. Their Vornes front objective marker's away as well now. So it's 9.22. Now we don't have reserves, we don't have an auxiliary card. 9.22 movement methods. And off we go. Now starting on game turn 6, Soviet operational limit applies to certain movement methods in 9.22. Yeah, so this is going to kick in for Vornes front units because their objective marker is away. So, but I think they're probably, the operational line's further down. I don't think they're going to get across that line anyway, so I don't think there'll be any issues. Right, movement method 1, take a VP hex. No. 2, open a supply line. Yeah, none of these units have. I should probably open things up a little bit while we're looking here. None of these units have supply issues. We've not done any movement in here, and obviously we've checked supply recently, so I'll move on quickly. The Soviet VP hex, move to a Soviet VP hex targeted for the active front that is empty, garrisoned, or occupied only by 1 step. 1 or 2 steps in Kharkov, and to which a German unit's proximate or German supply is traceable. No, we're going to have to what? Because it's actually, we'll just notice if we take Izium, German supply is going to be traceable from the likes of this road down and up to here. Yeah. But we haven't taken Izium yet, so yeah. So they are proximate to this town, but this town there's not a German unit proximate, and supply is not traceable to that yet. But like I did just say there, if we took Izium, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we trace from there 5 hexes onto this road. And that would then be a German supply trace. However, they can't look at that just yet. So, it's possible we can trace supply to this. Yeah, we can. We can trace German supply to that town, but in actual fact, that's targeted for the southwest front. Anyway, but we couldn't reach that anyway. We couldn't reach that by moving to that. So, yeah, so empty or 1 step. No, there's not any. There's not any to which German units proximate or supply traceable. Right, move on. Avoid surround. If nearly surrounded, well, they're not. They're way out of the action. 5. Adjacent to German VP hex. A German VP hex beyond operational limit is eligible only if empty or occupied by just 1 step. Well, like I said, they can't reach the operational line anyway. So adjacent to German VP hex, right, well, the only one is Kharkov, but I think they're still too far away from Kharkov. Yeah, this is a tricky terrain, so it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. We can't really go anywhere. Yeah, we can't get adjacent to Kharkov. Let's just say that. And then the end of step 5 though here, because their victory points have now moved down to 17 again, means they are less than 19. So Soviet desperation is going to kick in. If the Soviets have less than 19 victory points, process movement method 11 now before proceeding to method 6. So movement method 11, yeah, so I see what's going to, it's jump into that to try and get them proximate to Kharkov so that next time that they can do that. So 11 is proximate to German VP hex in ascending order. A VP hex beyond the operational limit light is an eligible target only if empty or occupied by just one step. However, this is not beyond the operational line, so we're fine with that. So move to a hex in which the moving unit becomes proximate to a German VP hex targeted for the active front. Well, that Kharkov is targeted for the Voronezh front. So, and then some preferences, well, it's only Kharkov. Yeah, so they're going to do that, well, if they can. So in ascending order, well, actually, yeah, I did say the terrain was a bit yucky, didn't it? So maybe they won't be able to do this. I'm going to move that back a little bit. It feels like I'm a bit too close there. That's better. Right, so unit 1, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, right, well, let me see if he can get proximate. I think that's 2 possible hexes that would get him proximate to Kharkov. You can come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the broken, 6 into here, and then he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. Remember, he is a 3-step unit, so, well, actually, both these hexes only have 3 steps, and this only has 2 steps, so they're the 3 hexes that would be, would they be proximate to this? Ah, yeah, it would be, I think. 4, yeah, so it would be proximate to these 2 hexes from there, and that one from there. So, what are the preferences here then? Or is there any? Move to hex. Yeah, no, there is, yeah. Yeah. Target for the active front. Okay. Prefer a hex adjacent to the VP hex. Right, well, we can't do that. From which Soviet supply can be traced. Yeah, both of them are fine with that. Closest to the VP hex. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So my guess is that one then. I mean, it says closer to the VPX. I don't know if it means in movement method terms. I think generally closest means that you just, as the crow flies, don't you? Well, closest, actually it's described in the terminology 9.3 on page 21. Distance measured by counting hexes, not movement points, regardless of terrain and enemy units, except that the distance cannot be traced across a blocked Dnieper River hexside. Fair enough. So it is hexes as a crow flies. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and I don't think he can reach. Coming down this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can't go in there because it'd be overstacked. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's got to come across the bridge. 1, 2, 3, and that's broken. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can't get any further than that. So that would be the closest one. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. And now he is proximate to being adjacent to Kharkov by going 1, 2, 3, 4 into this hex here. Okay, so the other 2 guys are infantry. So unit 3 would be next. Well, actually, he's 3 steps as well. Right, you can make it by going here. I didn't think he was going at first. I put him in the town here with 1 short, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4 to there, and he'd be proximate 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have to go into that hex. Now, I know we're saying that this guy's proximate, but we're only checking proximity because obviously these 2 units and this would not be able to fit into there. But I can't, that's not within the rules to consider at the moment. Can he reach 1, 2, 3, 4? I mean, he could come down here, but that's not going to be proximate either, is it? No, that's 1 short. So yeah, so I think this guy would go there. One, 2, 3, and 4. And these are leaving hexes that are not got any issues. I'm not opening up supply. I'm still keeping in supply. Yeah, I think this other guy might struggle to make it then. Although there's one hex further down. Let me have a look. Yeah, actually, he can reach here, can't he? 1, 2, 3 into the broker. Remember, he's infantry, and then 1 across the bridge, 4. And then he can move 1, 2. Right, he can't get into this hex. It's just this hex. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can reach that hex. And there's only 3 steps in that hex. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he can't quite reach that one. But that would get him proximate. So he's going to make that move. And that was from... no, there, wasn't it? Not that matters. Right, so they're now all proximate to move adjacent to Kharkov. Which is not what we want, really, is it? Yeah, because I think they next turn move adjacent to Kharkov. All it's going to need is for an assault coordination to come out, and it's going to be a big attack, isn't it? And me talking about maybe the biggest they're going to get is 3 to 1. Well, I don't know if that force comes in. I mean, can these 1, 2, 3? Yeah, they're not proximate, which is quite nice as well. So if 40th Army do activate again, they're not going to get right in. Well, yeah, we're just going to have to see how it goes, isn't it? Right, so that's their activation over. No attack checks to be made. The units all made a move. They all did something. That's that card done. That's another German, Soviet impulse finished. Yeah. I don't like the look of that, but I suppose this was always going to be, you know. Right, well, that's almost at an hour, so I might as well cut that now. I've got a bit more time now, though, so hopefully I'll just copy this across and get back. We know what we're going to do next turn as well, so... well, I say we know what we're going to do. We know we're going to come and take this, but we've got a couple of attacks to make, so... we might need to look at our cards, contemplate some combat tactics maybe, and... yeah, see how it goes. Right, I'll be back with the next part shortly, guys. Cheers.